Greetings and welcome to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. You can find us all over the internet on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast and you'll find us. Also, if you love the show and you want to support us, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/HolyBatCast. No pressure, but a big thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. It really does mean a lot. We know you don't have to help us out, but you do, and that really is awesome. So thank you. Thank you. We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out those shows at rf4rm.com. And finally, I'm your bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. So I got to start by saying Happy Halloween, Bat Family. Guys, it's All Hallows Eve, one of the happiest and spookiest days of the year. So happy Halloween. And I got to tell you, between you and me, I was a little sad. I was like, I don't think I'm going to get to do a Halloween episode this year. I didn't have anything planned, didn't really have any ideas. There wasn't really anything new to do. So I was like, I failed you and I failed myself. And then, like a bolt from the blue, something happened. And I was like, wait, I think I can make this work. I can let us have a Halloween episode, because it turns out that I was reached out to by the producers of a Batman Halloween fan film called Halloween Night. And then another friend of the show, Tim Rooney, was also doing his own Batman Halloween fan film. And I was like, wait a minute. Why don't we just talk about those, shine the light on a couple of fans doing some fun stuff and showing their passion for Batman and Halloween. And yeah, talk to them about these projects. And also for everybody out there, if you want some Batman Halloween content for this year, before midnight, the stroke of midnight on All Hallows Eve, you've got some new Batman Halloween content to enjoy. So it just worked out, and I was able to make that happen. So I am going to talk to the producers of Halloween Night, as well as Tim Rooney. And I'm really excited to share all the hard work that they've been doing with you guys. So yeah, I'm glad things worked out, and it's really fun stuff. I love these guys who are out there and they're putting their time and their money and their passion into creating Batman content that they want to see. You know, Batman is someone who belongs to all of us, the fans, the community, and it's just really cool that they are dedicating their time and effort to do that. And right now, the results look really good. So yeah, I wanted to at least share that with all of you. And I feel like over the past, few years, every once in a while, we'll get an email to the Wayne Manor Mailbox that'll be like, hey, why don't you guys talk about some fan films? And we talk about some in passing. I don't always keep up with them. But yeah, these just, the planets aligned, the timing worked out. And so it's actually really fun. And I'm really glad that I get to help bring some attention to these cool projects that are happening out there around Batman. So for me, I mean, you just get me for the, intro, outro, maybe a little bit of mailbox later. But I get to talk to Nick, who is the writer, director, star, etc. of Halloween Night, and then Tim Rooney, the writer, director of Batman Masks, which is the name of his fan film. So yeah, it's a bit of a random episode, but I know you guys are going to roll with me. It's lots of fun. So we'll get started with the first. And that is my chat with Nick Cranick, who is the producer from No Joke Entertainment, and they are the ones working on Halloween Night. So without further ado, here's me and Nick chatting about Halloween Night, which will be in your YouTube feeds maybe when you're hearing this, or if not, very soon. So here we go. Here's a little bit of info about Halloween Night, where the Bat goes up against my other favorite, Michael Myers. All right, Bat fans, I am here with Nick Cranick, who has a very exciting project just in time for Halloween to share, and I'm excited to chat with him about it. So, Nick, welcome to Holy BatCast.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and happy Halloween to start.
Happy Halloween to you.
I assume you're not having a restful Halloween based on what you're working on.
Oh, no. I'm actually going to be working on Halloween. But we've been hard at work. We're still working on the film. It's
Right to the last minute.
Yeah, no, it's just like a lot of ADR, a lot of sound adjustment. We're just trying to get the final lock perfect, you know.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, the film is called Halloween Night, but Night with a K.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a Batman fan film, but also it combines two of my favorite things, which is Batman and Michael Myers, the Halloween franchise. And I'll tell you, on this show, over the years, we will often get emails, messages of like, what do you want to see Batman crossover with? And one of our first answers is the Halloween franchise. So you're doing it. And I love that. And that's why I was like, I got to talk to him, see what he's up to. So that's very exciting. I want to talk about the film, but first I want to just know a little about you and about your Batman fandom. How long you been a Batman fan? Tell me about that.
Since I can remember, I was born with a batarang in my hand.
Excellent. Excellent. Good.
Yeah, no, my dad was a huge Batman fan growing up, and not so much a horror fan, but he was a huge Batman fan, and he um my earliest memories was just watching Batman the Animated Series in my dad's lap. So that's like my life. So
That's great. I love it. And, we have a tradition here at Holy BatCast. Anytime someone joins us, they got to tell us their favorite Batman movie and why.
Batman Mask of the Phantasm is my all-time favorite Batman movie, even live action.
Wonderful. I love that. And why that over all the others?
Maybe it's nostalgia, but but also because I just think it's got the perfect writing and the perfect story and probably the best performance of all time for Batman and Joker.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a classic. It's great. I love it. Not many people put it at like number one, which I think is very cool.
The Phantasm character is so cool. I would always a cosplay of that.
Moon. That's one of those we always say, like, why hasn't she been used in more media? Like occasionally she'll pop up in the comics here and there, but yeah, I feel like the Phantasm is an untapped well.
Absolutely.
And then as for your Halloween fandom, yeah.
I just I don't know. I grew up kind of like being super afraid of Michael Myers, and the older I got, I just kept getting more curious with it. I keep stumbling back to the old film, and then I watched the Rob Zombie films. And then once Halloween 2018 and all those films came out, it kind of sparked my interest again. And then I rewatched all of them and a bunch. So I'm not like I didn't grow up loving Halloween, but I have became probably an even bigger fan of Halloween than Batman, arguably. Like I just so much.
Cool. Well, a little late to the party, but that's fun. I like it.
Yeah, I've always known about him, but I didn't become like a super fan until probably about 10 years ago.
Nice. And what's your favorite Halloween movie?
Oh, that's a hard one. I have to say 1978. I love the original aesthetic and the vibe it has.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with that. We've been in October. I've been cherry picking my favorites because there's not always time to do them all every year. But yeah, I mean, you can't beat John Carpenter's original.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's got that that flair, that spice.
Very much. So when did you decide I want to do a Batman Michael Myers fan film?
Well, it was a real fun night. My brother and I were having a few too many, and we were watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, as we do.
Nice.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse, by the way. We were doing that, and we were having way too many drink. And then I remember we were talking about Michael Myers at some point, and me drunkenly, I leaned over and went, "Dude, how sick would it be if Batman fought Michael Myers?" And he was like, "Dude, that'd be sick." And the next day, I just couldn't shake the idea, and I just kept thinking about it all day long at work. And then I kind of went to my buddy Adam, who's from the UK, who also plays Alfred Pennyworth in the movie. His name's Adam Parrott. He co-wrote the whole movie with me. I kind of went to him. I was like, "What do you think about like this idea?" And he was like, he loved it. And I said, "Let's just write it and see what happens." I said, "Who knows? It might just be a fan. Could be a fan film. It could be a comic book. It could just be some kind of fan submitted story that we post online somewhere just for fun." But I didn't know it was going to be a film probably until about a year into writing it.
Wow. Okay. So how long have you been working on it then?
Since 2019.
Wow. Yeah. Cause so I was looking up your stuff before we started recording, and yeah, I saw that there was an initial trailer that was like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. We filmed pretty much everything in that trailer is from what we filmed that year.
Mm-hmm.
We filmed the beginning of the movie. Probably about the first 20 minutes of the film was filmed there. And then cut together a teaser trailer, see what people think. And it didn't get a lot of views, but it didn't, I didn't get discouraged. I was like, let's just continue, and we ended up just doing a lot of rewrites and making it better. And it got so big to the point where I was like, I don't know if I can afford this anymore, guys. And luckily, I had a few supporters come in, and my old boss, I used to work for a cab company. He kind of like heard I was thinking about throwing in the towel, and he was like, "No, don't." He donated $3,000 just because. So
Oh wow, that's really cool.
that helped quite a bit, and then that kind of gave me some encouragement, and I started throwing more money at it, and $23,000 later.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, it's been crazy, but it's this is what fans do. This is passion. If you're gonna go in, you got to go all in.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, good for you. I respect the commitment and that it's been such a labor of love now for years. And
Yeah.
so you are now like at the precipice of debuting it to the world. How you feeling?
Maybe a little nervous, but at the same time, I'm like super super stoked because they're in for a treat.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, the final trailer is very cool. I haven't seen the film yet because, it's not out yet, but I look forward to watching it. But there's some really great stuff in the trailer and, I can see that money for what it's worth. Like it really looks very good. And so kudos to you. I see that you're using the best Batmobile,
Oh, of course, of course. Then
which makes me makes me happy.
it was back and forth. It was either that or I was gonna try to replicate the animated series Batmobile in a realistic tone, but it would have cost me a lot more because the animator basically he used a model of the 89, but if I was to use the animated series, he was gonna have to build that from scratch.
That makes sense.
So I was like, I'll just use the 89 model. So it's like $1,000 cheaper. So
yeah, and you can't go wrong with it. It's so beautiful.
It's a great car. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, that is amazing, using the old Burton Batmobile. And it sounds like you're a Snyder fan. I am as well. So yeah, I enjoy the Snyder films. So this Batman, this version of Batman, is it wholly original or from what I'm seeing there seems to be a little bit of the Affleck inspiration, but yeah,
that's just my butt chin.
Well, that works too. So because you're also playing Batman.
Yeah, I do. I play Batman in the film. I like to think that it's definitely not inspired by Ben Affleck because I maybe a little glimpses of it, but not really. I definitely tried to channel my inner Kevin Conroy as much as I could. I love Kevin Conroy's Batman in the Arkham games and the animated series. Definitely not as good as him, but it's definitely inspired by that, and I just wanted to make sure that it was also original, and so it's very much inspired by the animated series and the comic books. Is where I tried to lean in.
Nice, very cool. So Batman and Michael Myers, I mean, I don't want you to give away anything that people are going to see in the movie, but like how in continuity are you going with here? Or is it just sort of its own standalone thing where they just live in the same world and don't think too much about it?
It takes place in like a sister universe, I call it, to the 2018 Halloween movie.
Mm.
So basically, it's the premise is what if they were in the same universe, and what if 40 years after the events of the 1978 film, he was transferred to Arkham Asylum instead of wherever he was going in 2018.
Very cool. All right.
So it's not the same versus 2018. It's its own. It takes place in its own continuity, its own universe after 40 years after the events of 1978.
Mm-hmm.
So it very much is its own universe.
All right, cool. And how long is the movie? I'm just curious.
We're still editing it, so I don't have the exact timestamp, but it's going to be about an hour long.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, some of these fan films, they're 5 minutes. Some of them are 2 hours. I didn't know where you were landing, but you're kind of in the middle. Like,
I wanted it to be like an hour and a half, but we after trimming a lot of the fat and some stuff that we didn't need, it became more about like an hour. But it's really cool.
No, that's really cool. I look forward to watching it. It'll be a nice little Halloween treat tomorrow when we're recording this. And yeah, like so. In the trailer, we see Alfred, we see Gordon, we see Batman, we see Michael Myers. Anyone else we should keep an eye out for here?
Harvey Bullock is in the film, and
okay.
You hear him in this new trailer. He's the one that says, "You think Michael Myers is just a misunderstood boy who needs a hug from his mama? He's just another, just like you." So yeah, Bullock is in it, played by Phil Sawyer. He is a fantastic actor, real trooper. He also got a lot of locations for us for the film. He's been acting forever, and R.W. Martin plays Commissioner Gordon. Let's see, Barbara Gordon makes an appearance in the film. Not a very big part, but she's in it.
Cool.
I'm trying to think of anything else. I can't think of any other like super standout characters other than because Nightwing. Nightwing's in it. You see that in the
Yes, yes. That's a good call. There is a glimpse of him, and that's exciting. I'm also a huge Nightwing fan. Where did you shoot this, by the way?
We filmed in probably about 15 different locations in upstate New York, and we also went to New York City for a couple shots.
I thought I saw that, which is very cool. Yeah, I didn't know where you were located. So this is great.
Yeah, so we shot a lot of locations in Albany, New York, Schenectady, New York, Cohoes, New York, Hoosick Falls, New York. There's a lot of locations, but it's all upstate for the most part.
Awesome. And so, you said you wanted to do sort of your own version of Batman, a little more comic book or animated series. How did you go about constructing the suit? That's always such a big piece of it.
The cowl is designed by Hernandez Sculpture EFX on Facebook and Instagram. The suit is designed by Unmasked Studios. The boots are made by Tilly FX. It's a bunch of different artists. I found all these guys on Batman Costuming. It's a Facebook group, and they make these amazing suits.
Wow, that's really cool. And so, because you're playing Batman, how involved were you as it went on, or did they just do it and you hoped for the best, or were they able to build it to your build?
Oh no, yeah, they take your measurements and they basically tailor the suit to you. I basically measured my entire body, chest, bicep width, all that stuff.
Okay, so but I mean, there's that moment of truth, right, where it's like, okay, sure, hope that this fits right.
Oh yeah, it's tight.
I'm sure.
It's very tight. We had 3 different suits for the film. There was 2 just regular suits, one that we could destroy and not feel bad about it. One that was nice and clean, and then there was a suit that was built to look battle damaged.
Awesome. That's really cool. Again, I'm just getting glimpses of it in the trailer, but it looks really cool, and I look forward to seeing more of it. The other thing I wanted to call out is when I went to your production, or I guess it's your YouTube channel, but your production company YouTube channel, which is No Joke Entertainment. I came upon the main title theme.
Yes, yeah, that's the that was designed. His name is Matthew Penner. Blake Matthew. Yeah, sorry. It's Blake Matthew Penner. He's a composer under the name of Dr. Corpse on YouTube. And he basically, I heard his stuff on YouTube and I thought he was great. I emailed him and asked him if he'd be interested in scoring a couple of the tracks. And he was extremely interested, and we worked out a deal. And yeah.
That's great. So I listened to it. And I'll tell you, as it started, I was like, oh yeah, cool. It's like the Halloween theme, but it's got a little something extra. And then about halfway through,
oh yeah,
oh man, it like kicks in, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. And then it really ends amazingly. So it's a nice journey through that theme. So with your permission, I might put a little snippet of it in here if that's okay.
Absolutely, go for it.
Yeah, for the listeners, and give them just a little taste so they can go check it out. But yeah, I really love it. I might just have to add it to one of my playlists because I really dig it.
Yeah, no, we when I first heard it, I got it when I was in my car. I was on my way home from work, and I played it. I pulled over to listen to it, and I was like giggling and like smiling ear to ear. I was so happy when he sent that to me.
Yeah, it's awesome. So hats off to him and you as well, because that was very cool and a great way to tease the project as well. But it's all the Halloween vibes, but also with some cool Batman-y Gotham vibes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, years in the making, comes out tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, how you feeling? You're nervous? You're excited? And how are you going to get it out there? Like, get people's eyeballs on it.
It's just going to be premiering tomorrow on my YouTube channel, No Joke Entertainment, at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am a mixture of bittersweet, nervous, excited, just everything. It's my subscriber count went up significantly since I released the trailer, and I almost cried the other day looking at it because it's just all this time, all this work put into it, and it's finally coming out, and it's crazy. I don't know how to feel about it.
Well, that is awesome. I just clicked subscribe, so now I'm gonna be able to see it as soon as it releases. I am also going to share it on the Holy BatCast page, just so people can get a chance to check it out. But yeah, I feel like this is a great thing. Halloween night, after all of the festivities, as the as midnight approaches, this would be a great thing to sit back, enjoy some Batman and some Michael Myers. Two great tastes that I am sure are going to go great together. So I'm very excited for you, especially knowing how long you worked on this and how long it was a labor of love. So kudos to you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Very cool. Well, again, I'll share it. People will find it. But what do you think is next? You're just going to take a rest, or do you have plans to go forward?
What's next? That's a good question. Well, I don't know. I have lots of ideas of what I want to do next. I have other ideas for Batman versus other horror characters. It's kind of what I want to do, but at the same time, I also have a lot of original stories I like to explore and do, original characters and stuff. But if the interest is there and people go, holy crap, No Joke Entertainment, please make another Batman versus whatever movie, then maybe I will. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll definitely, if we do end up doing it, it'll definitely have to be a crowdfunded thing. I cannot afford to do this again by myself.
I feel you. Well, and also just take a moment to actually enjoy the fact that you completed this one, and then I'm sure the ideas will come and you'll get to.
I have an entire script ready to go for another Batman versus horror character that I wrote.
Oh, awesome. Very nice. Okay. Well, good. There are things that can happen. So, for people who are listening, where can they keep up with what you're doing? Or, again, I will share the video, but I want them to at least come to your YouTube channel, which is No Joke Entertainment, but anywhere else they can find you guys out there on the internet.
We're on Instagram. It's under No Joke Entertainment or Halloween Night Movie. And also, I'm on TikTok. I got, I think, 11,300 something followers on there. And not only do I post stuff about the movie, but I also do cosplay content and a bunch of other stuff that they can go on there. It's also under the same name, No Joke Entertainment.
Wonderful. Well, awesome, Nick. Again, I'm very happy for you. I can't wait to watch the movie tomorrow. And for everybody out there listening, check out Halloween Night. Come into YouTube any minute now, or by the time you're hearing this, it's probably already out. But yeah, it's all about the love of these characters, and I love that you're doing, you're dedicating so much of your free time and frankly your finances to making that dream come true. So congrats.
Thank you so much.
And a very happy Halloween. Enjoy the moment. You've earned it.
Thank you.
And again, a big thank you to Nick while he's in the middle of launching his fan film. He still took a little bit of time out of his day to chat with me about it. So again, best of luck to Nick and No Joke Productions and Halloween Night. I look forward to watching it myself tonight, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how tired I am at the end of the night. Also, you probably hear some cool Halloween music as bumpers from these little conversations, and that is the cool new Halloween night theme that we talked about. So big thanks to Nick for letting me use that, but I thought I would at least give you guys a taste, wet your whistle, and make you a little more intrigued to go check out the film. So yep, that's what that cool stuff is, and I hope you're digging that. But we don't want to talk about just one cool Batman fan film. We got another. Our pal Tim Rooney, who you know from this show, he's a filmmaker, and I think it was last year, he announced he was going to do his own Batman fan film, and he is also releasing his on Halloween. So timing worked out, and so I was able to get Tim to join me for another quick little chat to talk about his fan film, which is called Batman Masks. Well, Well, since we're talking Batman fan films, we have another special guest to talk to. And he's someone you all know very well. He's been on this show, he's been on the Real Fans show, he's been on many of the shows in the network. He's an old friend, but he is also a filmmaker in his own right. And he's been working on a Batman fan film. And that's our old pal, Tim Rooney. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Andy, thank you for having me on. And I'm really excited to talk about my movie with you and all the listeners.
Well, great. Welcome back. I mean, you're a bit of a mainstay, which is nice, but I thought, you do all this extra work. You're a busy guy, and I wanted to shine a little bit of light on the hard work you've been doing in creating this fan film, and thought you could share a little bit about it with the listeners at home and give them a little something to watch this Halloween as they wrap up their evening.
Yeah, I would hope that Batman fans are all, I mean, it's weird. The two holidays that people love, or like two times a year people love seeing Batman, is autumn or around Halloween. It's just something about Batman by a dead tree with no leaves on it and a jack-o'-lantern looks cool, as well as him in the snow and it's around the holiday season. It's a weird thing that we're just drawn to, that like, oh no, that character fits into that setting for some reason.
Nope, it's true. And there certainly is Batman Halloween content, but I always feel like there's not as much as you would want, or at least not as much as I would want. Of course, I don't know if I would ever have enough, but I always take more. And so, you've been making films, short films and whatnot for a while, for years now, ever since I've met you. So what made you decide that, what, I'm going to make a Batman fan film next?
It was a few things. One is because I'm like, all right, I love filmmaking and I love Batman. It just seems it would behoove me to put the two of those two together and try and make something kind of interesting. And something like I would imagine that I know this may sound like cynical or something like that, or some people might think this is cynical, but like Batman fan films usually do pretty well on YouTube. They do generate a lot of views, so I thought it'd be another thing to like help grow my channel and get my name out there a little bit more, and be able to do that by doing with something with the character that I'm passionate about. And it just seems like a win-win to me, and so it's been a long time coming to get this one out there, but I'm so glad that I was able to find a good team and able to put this together.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, and I appreciate the honesty, because yeah, you love Batman. That's how we met. That's how we became friends. And yes, you've been making films, so why the heck not make your own little Batman movie, and hopefully that'll get more eyeballs on it. Nothing wrong with that. That's the name of the game. So what was the inspiration, or what was the kernel of the idea that you went, okay, that's something I can do. That is a Batman film I want to make.
Well, I always like one of my favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series is Who Killed Batman, about a not low life, a low level criminal who's dubbed Sid the Squid, who gets a name for himself for potentially what everybody thinks that he killed the Batman. Um, he may have done it by accident. He thinks it was done by accident. No one else thinks like, oh no, this guy was able to get seemingly killed the Batman. And I was just thinking about that idea of like, if you got the drop on Batman and you were a criminal, would you try to run away and just like get out of there scot free, or would you be curious enough to find out the secret identity of the Batman? And I was like, okay, let me run with that, because I felt like something like that is far more achievable than like trying to do an adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns on a $0 budget. So I'm like, okay, this seems achievable.
Build the tank, Tim. Come on, commit.
I mean, I could probably do it in like a 1/60th scale and do it in a miniature form, maybe if I 3D print it. But I was like, no, let me, because that is one thing. Like, unless you have a big Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign to back a fan film, you don't want to try to exceed your grasp on this, because it's one of those things where it's like, oh, the audience can be like, I see what you were trying to, but you didn't quite nail it. And it's kind of like, you feel like you kind of get like a not condescending, like pat on the back, like you tried, you did good. I didn't want it to be something like that. I'd be like, no, all right, let me know what the parameters of my limitations are and play within them.
No, I think, and that's really smart, and it makes all the sense. Is knowing what is achievable, and it actually forces you to be more creative that way. Of like, okay, now how do I tell that story within those constraints?
Absolutely. And I mean, you and I are huge John Carpenter fans. And if anybody's listened to any John Carpenter commentary track, especially on the movies that were like done independently, whether it be Assault on Precinct 13 or Prince of Darkness, it's like, all right, this is what I want to do. Like, how would I be able to pull it off on a budget? And he's able to do so because he knows where to spend the money in the right places, mostly the cast and the
Hmm.
locations.
Yeah, and when did you decide it's also going to be set on Halloween?
Well, that just seemed like I think the idea of like people being in costume would just make sense, and I'm like, okay, somebody who dressed up as a bandit would be a cool idea because now, granted, I am shooting in New York City. Most people will not like do do a double take of somebody dressing in a cowboy hat and a poncho walking down the street. But I felt like I don't know if I said on Halloween, it just has the audience buying in. Like, okay, I understand why this character is dressed like this, and just the imagery of having pumpkins or jack o' lanterns in the background just seemed to be a really cool idea for me.
Yeah, I you can't go wrong with that. And I didn't, I have seen it. Thank you for sharing it with sharing it with me early. It was a lot of fun. It was really well done. But yes, the villain, if you will, is dressed as a cowboy. And I was wondering, did you take inspiration from Shame from the '60s show?
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that. I didn't even think about that.
That's what I
But
thought you were doing. I was like, did Tim do a modern Shame? Because I would have been very proud of you, but it's just, I guess, serendipitous.
yeah, absolutely. Because oh wow, if I don't think that was conscious. I think that was totally subconscious because like I think I went through the entire series all the way through from begin to end once. So I'm like, okay, and I may have seen that episode a few times like prior to that, like on Nick and Night reruns before the series was re-released. So it's not one of the episodes. It's not like Hey Diddle Diddle where it's like the first episode with the Riddler, where it's like, oh no, that episode's burned into my brain. So no, that was not my intention, but I will take credit for it now. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Right now pretend it was. Be like,
yes,
I was always a fan of Cliff Robertson's Shame, and I always thought he was underrated, so I wanted to do an homage. No, that's just where my head went, but it was really fun.
I'll just George Lucas said like, yes, I always intended it to rhyme and be sequels and everything like
Yeah, yeah.
that.
It's like poetry. There's a rhyme to it. Well, no, it's really fun. It's a nice, succinct little 6-minute short, and so I respect the brevity as well. But yeah, it's a really fun little short, and you said you shot it in New York City because I know that
yes.
you're local over there. And how did you find your Batman?
Batman was I think it was just the Instagram algorithm was kind of like people posting Batman cosplays and it would just pop in my feed. And there was one gentleman that I reached out to, like, hey, I've been a fan of yours for a while. Would you be interested in doing this? And he said, no, that's not really what I want to do. Like photo shoots is fine. I don't think I have the right stuff to be an actor. And I was like, all right, that's fair. But he's like, but my friend Pete, I think he would be interested in that. And he put me in contact with him and we reached out on social media and we've been talking for a while. So like, it's been like, it was a couple of months before we even started filming. We did film a little bit like this time last year and a couple of days here in 2025. So, it's been a long time coming for this short to be out and us to be a final product of ours out there.
Oh wow! So how long have you been working on it then? For over a year?
It's been over a year. Like I mean, like just from the genesis of it. Like, all right, I want to do this. That's great. What am I gonna do? And then
Mhm.
and then I'm just like, it's hours on end at work when I'm like pretending like I'm doing my job, but my mind is elsewhere trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing because I'm like my body's on autopilot there. Yeah, like so uh, we shot a little bit of in October of 2024 with the intention of getting it all done in that month and getting it out by Halloween that year. Um, that just didn't work out scheduling wise, and I was like, okay. maybe we hold off and then we will do it for next year. And which was the right idea, because the idea of shooting in a different location that's not in the final film, it was like, all right, that's the place we're going to do. And in the meantime, I was looking through the website PeerSpace, which allows you to rent spaces for a X amount for whether it be like a photo shoot, a podcast recording, or a production shoot. And I came across this place in Brooklyn, Brooklyn Optics, that was more expensive than the location we were initially going to go for. But I was like, well, I don't have to do much set dressing. All that is pretty much there. And I'm like, it's worth the extra cost after showing to the cast and crew. Like, guys, it might be like we're going to have less time to be there, but look at the production value we have here. And so we all agreed to go to the main location that's in the short now.
Oh, very cool. So, as you were writing, as you were planning, what was your inspiration for Batman? What type of Batman did you want this one to be?
It was like the initial idea was like I want to have something that was more akin to the animated series or comic book version of the character. And initially we were like, Pete has, or I think had at the time, a costume based on Hush. He had the bat suit based on the Hush comic, which we were fully intending to use until the day before the zipper in the back of it broke completely, and it would have taken like a couple days to get that repaired. So we were like, all right, crap. Do you have any other suits? And he's like, yeah, I have two. I have Robert Pattinson's one in The Batman, and the one that's the BVS or Dark Knight Returns one. And I'm like, well, I think if we did the Robert Pattinson, it's too new and it's too tied with him. Like, at least with the BVS Dark Knight Returns one, like that's been around for 40 years in comics. I'm like, we'll go with that one. That one's far more appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. You also had some really fun like Easter eggs and nods to other Batman mythology, which I appreciated.
Yeah, it was interesting because there is there was another Batman fan film called Batman the Oath, which is like a prequel to Batman 89 and is very much indebted to Tim Burton's. Like they had like custom made cop uniforms look exactly like the police officers in that movie, and they had posters like advertising the 200th anniversary of Gotham City like hanging around. I'm like, oh, I like that idea. And I was like, all right, let me do something a little different. Let me have something where it's like that, but not too tied to them. Like, oh, if that was Batman 89, let me do something with Batman Returns instead. And then I was like, oh, that Max Shrek cat logo, that's a great idea. And so I was designing the poster that's in the movie, and it initially was going to be like the original colors where it was mostly white and a little bit of black. And I'm like, I'm messing around with it, and I'm like, let's see if I invert it. What would it look like? And I switched the colors. I'm like, nope, that's far more interesting. And I just like the idea of maybe Max Shrek is in his universe and has a Halloween, like a costume contest or a Halloween ball that would be the it place to be on October 31st.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun. And I like the way you're playing with different different versions of Batman to kind of make it one amalgam, if you will. But because I think that's fun where you blur the lines and it takes inspiration from multiple different sources.
Yeah, I mean, like it's something that like I mentioned on this show before, but how I got introduced to Batman, I was introduced to several different versions at a very young age. Like, as the aforementioned, the 66 TV show, I saw it on reruns, as well as the Batman, the animated series, and the Burton and Schumacher movies all came in, all those different versions at the same time. So, and I'm like, yeah, I can spot the differences, but to me, they're all Batman. So I think that's allowed me to be a little more open-minded to different versions of Batman. I certainly have my preferences, but it's not like it's not one of those things where like if he's with the Justice League, I'm not reading that book. I know some people who are like that, who are like, no, I want him as a lone Avenger. I don't like him with the Bat Family. I don't like him teaming up with the six main gods of the DC universe to battle intergalactic threats.
Right. Well, and we've always said like all Batman is all Batman counts, right? And everyone just has their own preferences, and that's fine. But again, I think that the way you mixed, sort of the BVS suit, even if it was by necessity, not necessarily by choice, it still works. And then, sprinkling in a little bit of Burton and then a little bit of just comic bookiness. I think it really works.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, that's why I was like, I even put like a blimp in the background at one point because I'm like, I just love the idea of blimps in Gotham City. It just looks cool, and like I almost went to the point that I was going to buy a model blimp spray painted and then paint the GCPD logo on and shoot that on a green screen and comp that in, but I couldn't find a model that I liked, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll have to do this completely digitally, which is not my I'm not the happiest with, but I'm like, okay, it works. That's why it's that eagle-eyed viewers will notice like it's a little blurry in that shot, purposely show because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna blur this a little bit so it doesn't look like that's just a JPEG that's slowly moving across the skyline right there.
That's okay. I thought it was a really fun nod, and again, it was just those little touches that I appreciated of like trying to bring it into the world of Gotham, in an economical way. Well, no, this is really cool. And then I know it's as we're recording this, it is Halloween Eve. So when is this going to be available for people to see?
It'll be out on Halloween 2025. So at the time of this recording, like in about 12 and a half hours, it'll be out. So it'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Halloween.
Great. I mean, so yeah, by the time people are listening to this, it might already be out, depending on how quickly I can get this out there. But yeah, it's like again, a nice little thing to watch as you're wrapping up your Halloween, paired up with the other fan film I discussed in this episode. I just love that we get 2 Halloween themed Batman fan films on the same day. No competition. It's just a fun double feature. And again, I respect, it's a nice, breezy little 6 minutes, very stylish, very cool. And I think you did a great job, Tim.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, like you said about having it being brevity of it, I'm like, yeah, no, like people say, it's my short film. It's 45 minutes long. And I'm like, well, that's an episode of a network procedural. That's not really a short film.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, yeah, fan films could be 3 minutes or 2.5 hours, and everything in between, and there's no right answer. It's just for what you want to do and what you can do. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. I know that there is speaking of Halloween, there's like a Halloween fan film out there that is set in like the David Gordon Green continuity, but Brendan. He's like, yeah, I was interested until I saw it was 2 hours long. And he's like, I just don't have 2 hours to commit to a fan film. And, fair enough. Some people do, some people don't. But when I saw this, I was like, man, 6 minutes, come on. You could just, you can watch that with your morning cereal and go about your day. So congrats on doing it. I'm sorry we had to wait a whole nother year for it. But yeah, I think that's super exciting. And I'm glad people will get to see it just in time for Halloween.
Thank you. And again, thank you for having me on to talk about it. And it's funny, like Mark, who plays the cowboy in this, like he's got a Scream fan film coming out very soon, I think, and he's also in a Halloween fan film he's also in. So like he's got like 3 fan films that he's in coming out all in like within spitting distance of each other. So and I realized that and I said like, hey, you realize you have all these coming out. He's like, yeah, I didn't plan for it that way, but I guess I'm just going to be very busy, like reposting stuff on my Instagram stories. Like, hey, watch this, and this, please.
No, it's a big week for him, I guess. And he's touching all the different franchises. So I will share this once you post it for real, for public consumption. I will post it from the Holy BatCast page. But where can people keep up with you and follow the work you've been doing? And what are your next plans? What are your next, what's in the queue waiting to happen after this is finished?
Well, I have a few other horror shorts that like one of them I shot that I need to finish up that like I tried getting done for a competition that I just didn't get done in time. That's on my fault, poor timing. Working on 1 or 2 different more fan films set in this Batman universe, one that might come out before this year is over.
Oh, that's quick. Okay.
Yeah, no, like that's why I'm like, no, yeah. It's with the little tease at the end of the short, like it's hinting towards the holiday season, and I'm like, yeah, no, let me not make myself too busy, but let me try and get another movie done before Christmas. Let's see if I can pull that off, even though I'm going away for a week for one point in November. And if that comes together, we'll see. If not, there's another one hopefully by next Halloween that I want to do. But there's other stuff that I constantly make that it's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Through the Lens Productions. If you follow the links to this short, subscribe, and please turn on the notifications bell so you get updates on whatever I'm making there, as well as on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at This Is Tim Rooney. Rooney spelled Rooney. And yeah, that's where you can follow all my musings and all the stuff that I talk about on a regular basis.
Nice. And again, this first Batman film is called Batman Masks. Just in time for Halloween, I will share it, but if not, look for it on YouTube after 9 p.m. on Halloween night. And go check out Through the Lens Productions. Make sure you subscribe so you can see all the cool stuff that Tim is doing. And yeah, Tim, always a pleasure to chat. I am cheering you on as you're doing all these fun things, and just keep up the great work, my friend.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And, we'll be talking before you know it.
Definitely.
All right. Great job, Tim. Always pleasure chatting with him. And again, some fun stuff for you guys to watch this Halloween. You got Halloween Night, and you've got Batman Masks. One is short, one is long, but it's a great double feature. And again, it's No Joke Productions, which is doing Halloween Night, and Through the Lens Productions, which is Tim's company doing Batman Masks. And just big congrats to both of these guys and their casts and their crew for putting in the work to creating this new Batman Halloween content. I think that's awesome, and I'm really excited for them. But we got a few minutes, and if you've been listening to some recent episodes, you know the Wayne Manor Mailbox is awfully full. And I understand it's not as fun when I have to do it alone. I don't get to bounce off of Brendan or whoever else might be with me, but I got to be a little productive and answer some emails. So here we go. Let's check in with you, fine feathered finks, and crack open the Wayne Manor Mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor Mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren. What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
All right, here we go. This first one is from our old pal Chris, the Objective Geek. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast crew, hope all is well. 2 questions. Number 1, if you could pick any superhero to be real, but everything else is the same, that would solve real-world issues today, who would it be? I would choose Wonder Woman. I feel she's the most well-rounded superhero in DC. She's aspirational, while at the same time willing to make hard choices. She has diplomatic experience, and the lasso of truth could come in handy. Number 2, if the DCEU ever introduced a dark version of the Justice League, would you rather it be a slightly altered Justice League like in Injustice or Justice Lords in JLU, or would you rather it be like their opposites, like the Crime Syndicate in Crises on Two Earths? Side note, you guys never reviewed that movie. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Chris, and always great to hear from you. So, first question, I mean, you make such a compelling case for Wonder Woman. I don't know how to argue. I'm not going to argue against it, but I'm like, who else would be that useful in the real world? The only one I can think of, and maybe it's just too easy, is Superman, assuming he is the Superman that we know and love. I mean, Superman and Wonder Woman to me feel like the best answers because I feel like they would be the most helpful in the real world as long as they are the good, true-hearted versions that we know and love. So yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman is a great choice, but otherwise I would say Superman. And then as for a dark version of the Justice League, I like the idea of the opposites, like the Crime Syndicate. I think that is a little more fun, and it's a little more unique where they're just more different than the Justice League we know and love. The dark versions that are like almost the same, like Injustice. It's like they're a little too the same. I think it's more fun to switch it up more. So yeah, I would go with like a Crime Syndicate or something like that. But I guess you're right. We never did review Crisis on Two Earths. So noted. Keep that in mind, especially for a week where we're like, we don't know what to do. So yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, some of those early DC animated movies we never got around to because they came out before the podcast and we didn't always remember to go back and cover them. So I always appreciate the reminders. So thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. All right, next email here is our old pal Stuart from Guernsey, and it's another hot take. More hot takes, all the hot takes. He says, my hot take is probably going to rub fans of the Batman the wrong way, but I can't help how I've felt each time I've seen the movie. The conversation in the hospital between Bruce and Alfred feels like it's being acted out and not 100% natural, like some old movies used to. It's more so Andy Serkis's acting than Robert's. We know he had a limited time on set due to other commitments. It's a scene like this that shows it. I really hope I haven't upset anyone, but I can't help how I feel, Stuart. Stuart, as far as hot takes go, I think that's pretty mild, right? Like you're talking about just one scene of the movie. You're not talking about the entire movie, but the acting in that scene doesn't work for you. I don't think that's entirely unfair. I'll be honest. I haven't seen the scene enough to have a strong opinion about it, but it's an interesting take nonetheless. I'm going to call it a medium take. How about that? But I appreciate you sharing it. And it's, again, you're only calling out one scene. I think that you're pretty safe. Don't worry. And I'll tell you what, at least as far as people we have heard from, everyone has been very cool about the hot takes conversation. I haven't gotten any, like, screw you, guy. I haven't gotten any of that. So big kudos to our listeners who are the coolest listeners who, like, can have fun with the hot take conversation without taking it personally, without getting mad. Because, yeah, shockingly, no one's really gotten mad, which is awesome. So, yep, I think your hot take is totally fair. Don't feel bad, and I appreciate you sharing it. Thanks, Stuart. All right, next email here is from Zach. It says, hey, fellow Bat fans. I enjoyed the discussion on which characters were bigger pop culture phenomenon, Heath Ledger's Joker or Josh Brolin's Thanos. Do you think that Ledger's Joker would be the giant that it is if the actor had not passed before the film released? It feels similar to Brandon Lee and his visual as the Crow being the one that is most in the zeitgeist rather than any of the others, including the source comics. Thanks for humoring me, and especially for the podcast. I enjoy it immensely. P.S. I also still have my Batman Forever glasses, and they are perfect. Zach Meineke. All right, Zach. Well, nice to hear from you. I think this might be the first time we've heard from you because I don't know your last name. Anyway, it's an interesting question because there is always that, like, what if? What if Heath had lived? What if he had been around when the movie was released? What would that have been like? And then what would have been the legacy of the character and the film after that? I will say, and again, it's totally everyone's opinion. It's subjective because nobody knows. Nobody has the crystal ball and sees what that reality or that timeline looks like. But I am going to say that his Joker would have been just as acclaimed whether or not he passed away. Because there was already skepticism around his casting. And then there was a ton of excitement around the reveals that we got. And this was all before he passed. And there was even excitement with, like, the teaser trailer and the voice and the laugh. So there was already so much intrigue around what he was going to do with the Joker before he passed away. And so whether or not he passed away, that performance is brilliant. I don't think anyone will fight you on that. And so I think that initial, like, oh my God, really? Heath Ledger? That happened when he was cast. And then the more we saw, the more people went, oh my God, I think he might have nailed it. And then seeing the film, and he absolutely nailed it. I think that people still would have been like, holy crap, this is an amazing performance, and it would have gotten all the accolades. I just think that his death just added that extra layer of interest and intrigue around it. So sure, it might have goosed it a bit, but the performance is the performance, and I do believe it would be just as beloved even if Heath was still with us. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, of course the death adds to it, but I still think that it would have been nearly as critically acclaimed, regardless. So thank you for the question, Zach. Appreciate it. All right. Next one here. It's from Brian B. It says, hey guys, hope all's going well. Sorry for an email so close to my last one, but I loved your hot takes episode. I just feel like I had to send some, even though I feel like Professor Frink at the end of the 22 short stories about Springfield episode coming in after it's over. Here are my random hot takes about Batman and DC in general. Number 1. Fans of BVS who use the eye-rolling, well, it was too smart for people it was too smart for people use this as a way to take a jab at people who didn't like it and not as a defense of the movie. There's 5, so I'll take them one at a time. All right. I think I don't know. I don't know how hot of a take that is, but I agree. And this is coming from someone who really loves BVS. I don't buy into, oh, you just didn't get it, or you're not smart enough to get it. Yes, I think that's unfair. No, people can get it and still not like it. There are movies that I get it. It doesn't mean I like it, and I think that's okay. So yeah, I will agree with this take. I can't quite decide how hot it is, but I agree of like it's an unfair defense of being like, oh, it was just too smart for you, because you're right, that's kind of condescending and unfair. Number 2, this is more of a DC one, but DC has to streamline teams or create new ones. There are too many teams that are too similar, like Teen Titans or Young Justice, Gotham City Sirens and Birds of Prey, Justice League International and Justice League Europe, among the many other Justice League teams. I think this is a pretty cold take, because I think that's a totally fair observation, honestly. Yeah. Because I always saw Young Justice as just another Teen Titans book, even though it was called something different, because for all intents and purposes, it is Teen Titans. So it's an interesting observation. But the thing is, I don't know how many of these happen concurrently, because it feels like sometimes, like when Gotham City Sirens is active, Birds of Prey is not, or same thing with Teen Titans and Young Justice. But maybe someone out there who is better at following the month-to-month comics than I can say, oh, no, they all happen at the same time. And in that case, I think your point is pretty fair. I also think it's a relatively cold take, because I get it. It's a lot. All right, number 3. WB shouldn't do a shared universe. Just hire directors who want to make great stories. You can get better directors when you don't marry them to etched-in-stone stories 5 years from now. I would call it a medium take, because I feel it's one of those where I feel like half the fans are probably going to be with you and the other half are not. I could see this I could definitely see this as a half and half situation. I think there's a way to have your cake and eat it too. Honestly, I don't think it has to be one or the other. Frankly, I think the old DCEU did a pretty good job of that. And, with all the baggage and drama aside, but like, if you think about the directors they had, especially like when it was going relatively well between Zack Snyder and Patty Jenkins and James Wan, and, like all of those movies, let's just take those, or even say Shazam, like David Sandberg, let's say all those. Those movies all feel very distinctive to those directors' sensibilities, and yet they all still existed in the same universe, and that was okay. So yeah, I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think you can do both. I think that when everything feels very homogenized and cut from the same cloth, and that's where you run into trouble. And right now it's too early in the new DCU to say how that's going to work out, because right now the only DCU projects we have gotten, the only proper ones, have all been James Gunn projects. So yeah, right now they all, even though Peacemaker is significantly different than Superman, so to be fair, but they all have James Gunn's voice. It's going to be very interesting next summer to see Supergirl, which is a new director. It is a new writer. It is not a James Gunn proper project, and I want to see what that looks and feels like and how it can stand on its own while also being part of the shared universe. So, yeah, I would never say they shouldn't do a shared universe, because I don't want a DC universe on film where there are big brick walls in between between every character, so they cannot cross over. But I do want the filmmakers who come on to tell those stories to have enough creative freedom to make it their own. And James Gunn says that's what will happen. And I hope he's telling the truth. And we'll see when we finally get to see Supergirl, when we finally get to see Clayface, because those, and Lanterns for that matter, those are the ones that we're going to see. Okay, let's see if these have a more distinctive voice, or do they just feel like more of the same? Number 4. Oh, man. Matt Reeves did a great job with the Batman, but people got annoyed with the designs early on and never recovered. I'm partially one of those people. Oh, man. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do a strong disagree on that. I think maybe that's true for some people. You know what? If I had loved the movie, I would have forgiven the designs. I can say that with my whole heart. I really could have. Because I said it. Go back and listen. For the first 10, 15 minutes, I was like, I was in. And I had already seen all the designs. And then the movie lost me. So yeah, you know what? I'm sorry, Brian. This sounds like your version of it was too smart for you. That's what this sounds like. Of like, oh, you people who don't like it, it's just because you don't like the designs. No, it's more than that. I promise you. So anyway, this is your take. I respect your take, but I can't agree with this one. And then finally, number 5, last one, but Batman holds DC back. There are so many great characters, and because of how popular he is, WBDC always forces Batman in them. Let those characters grow on their own. Okay. I can definitely see a case for that. I think this is probably a medium take. It's one of those where I see both sides. Like, I love Batman. I'll always take more Batman, but I also don't need Batman in everything, because I also love Superman, and I love Wonder Woman, and I love Green Lantern, and I love The Flash, and I love Aquaman. And like, I don't need Batman in all of those too, because I love those enough on their own. So yeah, I think that I think it's fair. I always want Batman to be able to mix with other characters, but I don't need him to be used as a crutch. So yeah, I think that's totally fair. And then finally, lastly, what are your non-comic book movie hot takes? Mine are that Pulp Fiction is severely overrated, and Quentin Tarantino has never made a truly great movie. I think that's a very hot take. As far as that, I'm not even the world's biggest Quentin Tarantino fan, but I still think he's a great filmmaker. So I think that's a very hot take, Brian. A non-comic book movie hot take. Oh my God, dude. Like, how much time do you have? I don't even know where to start. I have a lot of movies that people hate where I go, you know what? I don't mind them. I've said it before, like, well, it's a comic book movie, so never mind. I was like, I like the Daredevil movie that came up recently. Like, maybe that's a hot take. I don't get the hate. I like it. But that's comic book movie. So a non-comic book movie hot take. I mean, it's the first one I thought of. It's really random, but American Beauty, the Best Picture winner from whenever that was. What was it, like 2000, 2001? God, I hate that movie. I hate it. So yeah, there you go. So it's a Best Picture winner, critically acclaimed, won all the awards, and I hate it. It is so pretentious. It's got its head up its own ass, and I hate it so much. So I guess that's a hot take. What's funny though is I feel like when the buzz wore off, a lot more people agreed about, I feel like that one, it's not as beloved now as it was when it first came out. But yeah, that's one of those where I was like, really? Best Picture? Screw that movie. Anyway, that's a negative hot take, but one nonetheless. Anyway, so thank you for all of the input, Brian. Lots here, lots to discuss, and appreciate all your input, your takes. Love it. And then Brian finished by saying, as always, thanks for the hard work. And here's my hot take about your show. You guys are awesome. Well, thank you. I hope you still think that after that conversation. That was one-sided, but I was trying to be fair. But thank you, Brian. Love hearing from you and love your input. All right, what do we got here? This one is from Austin. It says, hey guys, I wanted to throw a hot take at you. Rachel from the Dark Knight trilogy is the worst love interest in any Batman movie. All she does is complain to Bruce in all of Begins that he isn't doing anything, only for her to pull a complete 180 in The Dark Knight and criticize him for every choice that he makes. It drives me crazy that Bruce quits being Batman because Rachel died and he did his job. If you're going to be hung up on a love interest, at least let it be from someone who actually loves you. Also, considering where Bruce Batman was in his career with Wayne Industries and how well regarded his Batman was to the public, in Batman Forever, this movie should be ranked higher than it usually is. All right, Austin. I would say your first take is a hot take that Rachel Dawes is the worst love interest. But I don't think your point is wrong. I actually understand your point, because you're right. Like, at no point while she is alive does Rachel seem to reciprocate Bruce's feelings. And so he does have all of this hung up on her where it feels very one-sided. So I think your point is well taken, but I do think it's a hot take, because I think because of how Rachel impacts his journey, it's so well regarded, both in the first film and in the second, and then I guess, by extension, the third. So very interesting hot take, Austin, but you know what? I think it is also a fair one. And then where Batman Bruce was in his career with Wayne Industries and how well regarded his Batman was to the public in Batman Forever, this movie should be higher ranked. I mean, if that's the only way you judge Batman movies, I guess. Like is that the only criteria that makes a good Batman movie? Does the public like Batman? So I mean, yeah, we've talked about it in the past. Is like, yeah, I appreciate in that movie that, yeah, early on he goes to Wayne Enterprises or Wayne Industries. I forget what it's called in that one. And that was something Brendan's always brought up. He's like, oh, I love that he went to Wayne Industries in this movie. Sure, yeah, that's cool. In my opinion, that's not enough to forgive Joygasm and so many other things. It's boiling acid. I mean, there's so much else to that movie. So, but sure, the fact that, there are aspects to Batman in that movie that we hadn't seen up till then. And again, those are things that Brendan often brings up, is like, there were things that he had only seen in the animated series that were absent in the Burton films, and he got to see them in Forever, and that, did carry some weight. So I get that. I just don't think that's, for me, that's not enough to outweigh the stuff in the movie that does not work, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for the message, Austin, and thank you for the takes. It's funny, man. These hot takes, they keep coming hot and heavy, but I love it, actually. I think it's so interesting. I truly do love hearing everybody's input. Well, speaking of, we're going to do one more, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up. There are a couple left. We'll get to them next time. But this one is from our old pal, Stephen Marshall. It says, hey guys, hope you're doing well, and I hope you had a great spooky season. First, I'm sorry I'm late to the party, but I wanted to drop one of my Batman hot takes. I find the Dark Knight Returns animated movie to be better than the comic. The removal of the inner monologue from the book, which are full of Millerisms and frankly made Batman come across douchey, makes for a better experience. I also think it serves a few other characters better. What do you think? Secondly, we seem to be moving fast on Man of Tomorrow, and there's talk over who the villain will be. It's gotta be Brainiac, surely? No offense to Mongol, who I like, but it's been infinitely frustrating to see the lack of Superman's villains adapted on the big screen. And most of all, I feel Brainiac is long overdue, more so than any other. But on the chance that it's not Brainiac, are there any other Superman villains you'd like to see Lex and Superman take on? Lastly, I wanted to make a point on the DCU as a whole. I feel like there's a lack of momentum. What I think Gunn has overlooked is the importance of those credit scenes in the early MCU. They weren't just gags, they were there to tease the next thing, and they created a hype and momentum. I really think Gunn just putting pointless gags in those places is a bad move. I know he's talked about credit scenes that have gone nowhere, but if it's something that teases the next thing that's in production, then I don't see the issue. Thoughts? Anyway, sorry for the long email. Keep up the great work. Kind regards, Steven. Thanks, Steven, and always good to hear from you. So, one at a time. Your hot take that the Dark Knight Returns animated movie is better than the book. I will say it's a hot take. Not quite Michelle Pfeiffer hot, but it's a hot take. But I also think it's another fair one. I I don't feel strongly enough to agree or to disagree because I think they're both great, but I absolutely can see why you would prefer the film over the book, and I get that. I think that's interesting, but I don't think you're wrong. Also, I was having a conversation this week about Frank Miller and his artwork, and I think it was something that that Brendan said on maybe the last episode where he said he doesn't like the book as much as he wants to. He likes the animated movie version better. I get that. Like Frank Miller's artwork, sometimes it's great, a lot of times it's not. So at least the animated movie is consistent. So no, I think it's a fair hot take, but I do think it's a hot take because of how well regarded the book is. The villain for Man of Tomorrow. I mean, it's got to be Brainiac. I'm with you. It's got to be. It's so overdue. The fans have been asking for it forever. It is insane that we've never gotten a Brainiac in a movie. It's got to be. Mongol I think would be cool, but he's to me seems so minor, especially compared to something like a Brainiac, that I have a hard time thinking it would be that. So yeah, I'm with you. Brainiac. It's got to be. It should be. If it's not going to be, I would go with Parasite. I feel like Parasite's another one that offers a really interesting challenge to Superman and could also then necessitate bringing in Lex. So, but even Parasite, I don't think is as good as Brainiac. So I'm with you. It's got to be Brainiac, but the other one that comes to mind is Parasite. And then finally, your comment about the lack of momentum in the DCU. I think this is a very interesting and fair point. I get it. I also get what Gunn is doing because he's trying to learn from some of the mistakes from the MCU, but maybe at his own peril. Because you're right, like there was something to be said for if you go early in the MCU. I want to say it was like the end of Iron Man 2 where they tease Thor's hammer, right? Which is then going to be the next summer because it was already being made. To your point, like if it's something that's already being made, then there's low risk and it does kind of get you excited for what's next. But on the other hand, he kind of did that. He brought in Supergirl at the end of Superman. It's not a direct tease of her movie, but it's a pretty strong one. And that could have easily been a post-credit scene, but he just made it part of the movie. So I think that's fine too, right? Is like, hey, if this is someone we're going to see more of next summer, let's make sure everybody sees it and not just the people who waited through the end of the credits. And so it was almost like he took the post-credit scene and made it part of the movie. And that way the post-credit scene became this unnecessary gag that I still thought was cute, right? So yeah, I think I get your point. I get where he's coming from. But yeah, I do think that you don't want it to be like the TV show where it's just like, but tune in next time. But if you know something's coming, it would be cool to get a little bit of that, to help build that excitement. So yeah, I guess I half agree with your point, but I also understand what he's doing. And I hope that as the universe progresses, he'll find that happy balance of both. But yeah, interesting observation nonetheless. So thank you, Steven. All right. Well, I'll tell you, I get through these quicker when I'm all by myself. That doesn't mean I don't miss Brendan and Jamie, but I got through a bunch of them, which is great. I feel good about it. We've got a couple left. Actually, I have a lot coming up in the next episode because not to give it away, it's already been recorded. So got a lot more hot takes coming your way next time. And then still a couple more emails that are going to hang out until the following episode. But this is a nice, relatively short Halloween episode. Still over an hour. That's still totally respectable. But it is Halloween Eve, and I want to get this out to you guys. So I'm going to close the mailbox. I'm going to wrap it up so I can get this out and you have something to listen to on Halloween or whatever, and you can go check out those fan films. But if you've got something for the Wayne Manor Mailbox moving forward, you can always send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. Well, that will do it for this episode. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. Please do follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you love the show, something you could do to help us out, it doesn't cost a penny. It just takes a minute of your day. A nice review. 5-star review would be awesome. It really does make me feel good, and it does help us out, so we would love that. Again, find the group, find the show out there on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor Mailbox, that email address, again, is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar, and you can find his work at gvtunes.com. And as you're wrapping up your Halloween night, make sure you do go over to YouTube, check out Halloween Night with a K, and check out Batman Masks to see all the hard work that Nick and Tim and all of their pals have been doing. So big kudos again to them. But that's it for this Halloween episode of Holy BatCast. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Hope you had a really awesome spooky season. Hope you had a really awesome Halloween. And rest up because we got more holidays coming. We got more Holy BatCast coming your way. So a big true thank you to all of you for everything, all your support, and all your help over the years. So let's wrap it up. Thank y'all on behalf of Nick and Tim, who are already gone doing whatever they're doing. I've been Andy. This has been Holy BatCast, and we will see you next time. Same haunted time, same haunted channel, or something. Anyway, happy Halloween. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. Let's see what's up with you fine feathered finks and crack open the Wayne Manor Mailbox. Damn it. Okay, let's try that again.